Well, good evening. This is Dr. Bill White again with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to talk to you a little while this afternoon about some other possibilities with deep bite cases. Some of them are so bad, that you couldn't hardly make a set of dentures if you took the teeth out. So you can take the teeth and level their arches and everything else. And if you failed in orthodontics, at least they could have some decent dentures made. So let's take a look at this case. We're not hoping to ever have to go the denture route. This is a case that came in from Goldthwaite, which is a town kind of southwest of Fort Worth. It's quite a ways away, and I know the guy that's the dentist there in Goldthwaite, and he sent this man to me as a real nice fella, and they tried to do things on him, but it just got worse. And he came and didn't have a lot of money to get involved in orthodontics and restorative dentistry and everything. So I just used the models that he brought with me from the dentist that I knew there in Goldthwaite. And this is a crowded situation up above. Looks like they've taken out the first bicuspid here, and it's still crowded. Now down on the bottom, they did not remove any teeth. They're just really crowded down in this area. The whole thing's really crowded up. Now I see a piece of wisdom tooth here. I'm not sure about the other one. I don't think he had one over there. So let's kind of look it over the case to see what possibly we could do to help this gentleman. And I'm not advocating that young people going into orthodontics tackle or get into cases like this, but if you have somebody who's not going to do anything else, and if you don't do anything, there won't be anything done, then, and you take the case on, just figure on losing money on it. It'll take you a while, but I'll tell you one thing, you will learn a lot of orthodontics doing this type of case. And it's a case that seems like people don't seem to pick up. I mean, as we move these arches out, the bone structure moves with the teeth. The bone structure, the alveolar bone, it holds the teeth up and supports them. And the basal bone that supports that alveolar bone moves out with them where it's most efficient to carry the load on that. And that is hard to get across because a lot of people, if these teeth were way over here and you needed them over here, they think you'd have to cut this bone structure and move that bone out there. You don't have to do that. You just gradually move a group of teeth over, and the bone around the teeth will go with them, and you can actually intrude them or extrude them as you're going. The bone stays the same level around the teeth, and if you get them over here and widen it out like this, they'll have bone on them just like any other. But you don't have to do surgery. A lot of cases like that where they think you have to. I've got cases where they did the surgery simply because they did not understand that you could move the teeth over, and the bone and the teeth and the alveolar bone moves with the teeth, and the basal bone will eventually shift over to carry the load and get underneath that. Okay, let's get on with this case. I don't want to spend too much time in here with that. All right, this is the upper arch. Now, when I put the two arches together, you don't even see the lower teeth at all. I mean, they're up in here somewhere. I haven't got a picture from the back side, I don't think, here, but the extremely deep bite case. Now, if you do cases like this, it gives you a confidence to know that you can do anything less than that without any problem at all. If you can handle this type, but you may not want to tackle something like this. If you do, make sure that it's somebody that can't go anywhere else and don't want to have anything done, and you can go in and do and learn on this case. You can't hurt it. You can help it. At least that's my opinion of it. So I'm going to go on. Now, when we look at it from the side, you see that it's not lined up in a class 1 relation. It'd have to have this tooth back here, and this cusp right here ought to be coming to that for it to be a class 1. And this point when you're going down in here, they're missing the tooth up here, but they don't on the bottom, and the teeth are crowded up. It's a holy mess. The guy's carrying around there, and he wanted to get something done, and the dentist in Goldthwaite sent him all the way in to Hurst, Texas, for he knew and had seen the things we had done, and he sent him to us. He's a real nice guy that worked out there, had a farm, I guess. He used to bring us watermelons when he came in. And when you look at the other jaw, other side of the jaw, the right side, these bottom teeth are holds this jaw back. Now, I don't remember the guy having a great deal of trouble with his temporomandibular joint, but we've got a case just before this one we violated where the jaw is actually locked back in this position, and it can't move forward because that's the way he chews. Now we're going in and we're going to intrude these, and we're going to intrude these back here. And as I push these up, I come off of this tooth with a arch wires way up here, bring it down, look at these teeth, it starts to push this up. As it pushes this up, the exact same force will be trying to push these down. So you line them all up and everything, it'll try to push these down. Now the bottom, when I push these down, these will want to come up right here. The thing that saves you in this is the chewing of the person. If he bites hard in here and pushes these teeth together, you can intrude these and intrude these, and these will stay pretty much the same. If they don't, you can bond some acrylic block on here, and you'll chew the dickens out of that block, I'll guarantee you. And these teeth will not move together. So you keep the same vertical dimension in here, and you can raise these and lower these and keep these in the same position if you know how to use these blocks. But a lot of you have never even thought of putting blocks in anything like that. All right, so we'll erase that and go on to the next deal. Now I took the models and arranged it out to where these teeth were biting edge to edge. But these are class 2 division 2. Look at the reverse torque in there. And you've got a gap in between here that's at least a ½ inch in here. Now, we're going to have to pick these teeth up, and we're going to have to push these down, and this goes down so far as peel the tissue off of these teeth. So we're going to, as we pick these up, it's going to torque them out too. And it looks like he didn't have room for these teeth, but he did have room for those. But we're going to try to close all that space up and watch this take place. These teeth will go down, this will level out here, these will change angle on here, these will change angle up here, and this will fit together, and it will surprise you. All of this bone moved together with the teeth and the alveolar bone moved. Down here it does the same thing. The teeth don't bury up in the bone. They just take the bone structure with them as they go, and this will level out about along there. Now, keep an eye on it. If you want to do a case like that, just know that you can improve on it greatly, but you may not be able to do it good. Now this is skinning the tissue off of these teeth. Can you imagine? The guy's biting down there and he knocks the gum tissue right away from the teeth there. So he's wanting some help. And he's driven all the way from Goldthwaite, Texas to Hurst, Texas, where we're going to work on this gentleman. And so we're getting him in here. Now if I look at it from the other side, it looks like that. Now this was in 03, I think, when we started this case. And it looks like my dogs have started barking again. Now, here is the gentleman. After so much time has elapsed, we picked these teeth up. The bone went with the teeth, the alveolar bone, and I'll guarantee you the basal bone that supports the alveolar bone will move with that too. We could bring these cuspids out a little bit. And the bottom teeth have moved down like this. And look, the tissue has grown back over these teeth, but the attachment to a great extent it has. All right, let's look at it here now. We've got a spot right there. We're going to have a gingival problem with that. All right, now it's just about level. In other words, I put these edge to edge. You remember a while ago they had a half-inch space up here. So this bone has gone up. Excuse me. This has gone up. This has come down some. This has come up. And this has come down. And we're almost level now. You could do what I did to this if you just work it. You put these arch wires on. You put a run arch wire to hold the teeth in place, regardless of where the teeth are. Then you take another one, it's called an intruding wire, goes down like that. You come up, hook it. So this intruding wire is pulling this down, and it pushes this up, or tries to. But if you chews on this hard, this doesn't change much, and this will change, just like we've changed this out right now. And this guy is in a whale lot better situation than he was to start with. And if you could try to eat with your upper teeth coming down on the roots of the bottom teeth, you can't move your jaw one bit. You can chew like this, but you can't do your jaw back and forth. Now he can, and that is something that naturally your body wants in there. So he's trying to do that, but it won't work. Now we can come in and do that. All right, we finish that up. We go in here. We've done everything except he's going to have some type of implant or a bridge or a partial or something put in there, or else we're going to have to hold something and pull these forward. Now we've got wisdom teeth back here, and we could pull this forward, and we could put some pins in these cuspid teeth and put it in the bone, and then just pull these teeth to that. Today that's what we would do. Back when I did this, I don't know that I was efficient at that time. Now there's the bottom arch. Now the bone structure on that bottom arch would have been terrible to put a denture over. Now he's got tori, you see him here, and let's hope he doesn't have to have a denture at all. All right, here it is looking at the lower. Here we're expanding or rotating a tooth. We've gone around with the chain, wrapped around that tooth, hook it over here, so it's turning this tooth in this direction right there as we move around. And that's the most efficient way to rotate them. that I know about. And here is the gentleman. He's just the nicest guy you ever saw. He used to come in with his pickup, he'd have 3 or 4 watermelons in there he gave us. And there he is with his teeth. And before these teeth went down here on the roots of the lower teeth, now he can bite and move his jaw around. And that makes a tremendous difference in the life of a person that has that. And he's a real nice guy, but his chin is back a little bit, but he's in pretty much class 1 relationship now. There's this other view of his facial structure. And now that's where his teeth were when we started. And it'd open his bite and it'd be like that. And here, this is the upper teeth where they were, and the bottom teeth where they were. And that's where the upper teeth came all the way down to here on this fella. And by just getting the teeth off of him, some of this gingival tissue grew back, but it won't reform the attachment that it had. So you have to pay special attention to taking care of that area. And there's the upper teeth. We've intruded and pushed them back. Now this intruding wire was up here, and it's attached. There's another smaller round wire underneath it that's rotating and doing everything else in here. But the heavy wire is pulling these teeth up, pushing down on this, getting the force to pull this up, and the occlusion pushes this or bites it and doesn't let it open. And on the bottom we've got one here, and it's bringing that down at the same time. And I think you can take these pictures and what we're saying here and do this. If you can do orthodontics at all, you could possibly do a case like this and open the bite. That's a bad picture there. Now, at one point in here, we needed to jump that over. We put a little block back there and that held that open while we expanded this gap in here and brought that tooth into place. And the gap is big. We'll have to put teeth in the retainer or close that together. And this is 03, I think, when we started. And this is birthday date. He's 48 years old anyway. And there he is after, a few months or a year or 2 or something after we finished his work. Now, he's not brushing these good at all. He needs to be taught how to take care of the teeth better than he is, and he may keep those teeth the rest of his life. Now that's where we ended up with a retainer that filled this gap, but we had it open. Now he can come in and get an implant or something put in that space. He didn't want to work hard enough. He could have put a stent in here and then pull these teeth forward. And I think he had a wisdom tooth on that side. And on somebody that had plenty of money and doing all this, that's what we would have done. This is 03. Well, I don't know whether this is right. I had restarted in 03. Anyway, there he is in that position, and these teeth are down here somewhere. Now, don't be afraid to do these cases like this. Oh, here's what we did. We put a retainer with a gap, something to hold that space open, and this is where he bites into that, and he wears this retainer all the time, and these are wisdom teeth, and you could actually tighten this retainer and move this a little bit, but if I would love to finish it properly, I would open this up and put something in there, or else I would pull all these teeth forward in here and move this up to this point right here by attaching a screw and putting some composite and holding it to, and then pull these to it, and that stays the same. So I think this is just about the end of the case. And on the bottom we bonded these teeth together right here, and everything is lined up good on the bottom. That's 41603. And there we are on the upper 41603. Looking at it from the side, we did not try. If I had, you could still come back if he decided he wanted to do it. You could pull these teeth right up to here by putting a pin in the cortical bone and bonding it to this tooth right here. You can pull these teeth up to that point right there. That's where I would like to have finished the guy. But he was driving all the way from Goldthwaite in, and so he never did take up to doing that. But here are the finished pictures. Let's see, I don't see a date on that. But there he is. Now, some way or another, we've just about closed the space. So this is, I didn't take these pictures. Somebody, one of the assistants, they're not looking too good. But I do believe that we pull these teeth up here, or we've got something in that gap right there. And it would please me greatly. I wish the lady had learned how to take pictures over there. And we were having a little problem with the retention of these teeth sliding back, so we put some of these little springs like this on there. You see, and we could pull that out, and you can push on this corner or this corner and move those teeth out further into that position. So this must be several years after we finished the case. And there, the bottom is lined up, and that wire's bonded on there real good, and it's staying. And this is 07, I guess that's when that was. So here we are in 1907, and that's the end of it. And I thank you for watching, and I hope you will get some idea from that. I hesitate to tell you to try to do cases like that, but I don't know how much orthodontics any of you, we're talking to people all over the world. I mean, surely many of you know how to do orthodontics this complicated. That's not a real bad thing. But we opened that bite on that guy almost looked like over a ½ inch where we had a gap back here when we put these front teeth together that big. So thank you for watching. I hope you'll join our group and subscribe to our channel. And I enjoy meeting with you or talking with you. And I don't know who you are, where you are, but I appreciate you writing back. We got page after page of people writing back. You have any comment or something, I try to answer them if I possibly can, or group several of them together and answer your questions in there. It's better. It's not as good as being in a class where I can just look straight at you and I can tell when you're taking in what I'm saying and whether it's slipping by you. But join us, and I thank you again. And I'm going to close out. This is Dr. Bill White, and we hope to see you again. So I'm going to say good night.